Coast to coast, I drop bombs on you move.
This is a 2016 Dodge Charger Scat Pack, Challenger Scat Pack. It's got the SRT 392 Hemi in it. It's a 6.4 liter V8 with 485 horsepower. Very nice car, very great sounding car. It has a lot of torque. I always like these cars. They have their own unique look to them. Very big, kind of like a Grand Touring car. They did a great job on this body style, I believe. The car itself is not exactly SRT grade. It's got smaller wheels and tires, smaller brakes, a little different suspension setup. I don't believe it has the adjustable suspension like the SRT brand one. That's where you get the extra money from on the higher up models. But in the end, this is still a very good street car. As you can see, this car comes well equipped. Has a sunroof, cool little fuel cap, and on the interior, it's black as well. Very nicely appointed. Has the 8-speed ZF automatic transmission, which is a great transmission to have. These are vented seats, heated seats, and it's got a heated steering wheel as well. Back seats are typical for a coupe. You know, they work if you want to squeeze somebody in there, but I wouldn't recommend it. This car does come equipped with a 9-speaker Alpine sound system that's 500 watts. It's actually 507, I believe it is. Let's just take a seat in this car and take it all in. I've had muscle cars before. This is actually a friend. He's let me do a review on it, which I appreciate. You can see it has stainless steel covers on the pedals, which is nice. It gives it a nice little look. There's air vents for the back, but there's really not much to see back here. It's pretty minimal. Little compartment, feels pretty decent. Nice quality leather on it. I like how this cockpit kind of flows towards the driver instead of just being standard layout for left hand, right hand drive cars where they get lazy and don't want to customize it. Alright, well, we'll take a look at the engine. It's a beast. Alright, so this is the engine bay. It's a shaker hood. It's not the shaker edition. This is standard for this car, which gives it a nice little look, and it is connected to the engine. I think it's partially functional. Can't really tell. I'm sure it's partially functional, but not fully, obviously, because they have a large air cleaner down here. Yeah, see, it is functional. I have this little tube that hits the air cleaner, which is the right way to have it. You don't want to have air cleaners up here, because then when you drive through the rain, it's going to get dirty and wet and might cause issues, especially if you get hit with a big puddle. Somebody drives into it. It happened to a large YouTuber as well. Looks like you have a strut brace too. That helps. Keeps the chassis from flexing as much. And you got your nice little accumulation of leaves. Looks like an iron block. Aluminum heads. can see. It's got a really cool instrument cluster. There's a lot of different modes on it. I'm sure there's a menu in here somewhere. Yeah, see, there's a lot of different information. That's awesome. I haven't seen that for a while. It tells you the individual tire pressure of every tire on the car. Performance. I guess this is like lap time, 0 to 60, stuff like that. We're not going to do that. Driver assist. The car is equipped with a driver assistance program, which is good if you're one of those drivers that, you know, has wandering eyes, or somebody that doesn't pay attention and likes texting. They'll save your butt. But if you're an actual driver that pays attention to what they're doing, it'll just get on your nerves. So you don't really need that. The owner says he doesn't like it, and you know, he's a car guy, so he pays attention when he's driving. Excuse me, yes, I am a little sweaty. So this car's got the paddle shifters on it, and it's very close to a dual clutchless transmission. It's on point. If I had a choice of a transmission, this or a dual clutch, I'd probably choose this, because this is better in traffic. You don't have to worry about burning up clutch plates, because the clutch plates in this, they're wet, meaning there's oil in there with them to cool them, whereas a dual clutch on, say, a BMW or something along those lines, a Ferrari, they're just basically dry clutches, so you can burn those up just like a standard manual car. Now this car does have all sorts of goodies when it comes to entertainment, like all Chrysler vehicles do. Let's see here, performance app waiting to load. I'm not gonna go through all this. I'm sure there's plenty of videos on this. I do like how the climate is set up in here. Even though I have vented seats on right now, and you can have heated seats, vented seats, heated steering wheel, which is great when it's cold out. Mirror dimmer, that's very nice actually. I don't have that currently on that Honda. So I guess we'll go take this car for a test drive. Should be fun. So this car has a very nice drive to it. It's not harsh, handles well. I mean, it is a 4,300, almost 4,300 pound car, but it handles very well, and steering's tight. It's not a loose steering. It doesn't feel like a boat. You know, you expect a car with a lot of weight behind it to feel a little bit like a boat, but it does not feel like that. It does not feel like a boat at all. 8-speed transmission is very smooth and responds well to throttle inputs, and it also knows what gear it wants to be in. It's not constantly switching gears. I guess you get that with a car that has a lot of torque, but it's not constantly switching gears, not constantly revving out on you without any need to. Now if you do jab the throttle, it will downshift abruptly and it will do what you want it to do, basically. So they don't know what they're doing. Very nice sound to it. I always liked the way the Challengers sounded. Very unique sound to it. The vented seats are doing their job nicely. This is great. I always wanted vented seats in a car. Always wanted them, never got them. This thing does have a nice, as far as gas mileage, from what I read, it's like 16 or so in the city and 25 on the highway, but I mean, you're not going to get this car and expect to have good gas mileage out of it, even though I believe it does have cylinder deactivation, which means you go from having 8 cylinders active to 4, which it gives it that little extra bump from what it would be getting, which is like 21 or 22 on the highway, up to 25, 26. So you can take it on long cruises without having it completely drain your wallet. But once again, that's not what you get one of these cars for. You get to have fun with, have the image of a nice muscle car, and a nice sound as well, which is definitely has a nice sound, this car. Oh, yes, he's got some torque. Instant throttle, or instant shifts basically. price of one of these, you can get this thing used for pretty cheap too. I mean, it's might be like 32,000, 33 for one with some miles on it, and it's really good car. I wish there was a little more. I wish you could see a little more out of it. But as far as the powertrain goes, the powertrain is spectacular. This thing's great. I haven't really gotten on the car. I don't want to because it's not mine. But the powertrain in this car is the real deal. And this automatic transmission's great. I drove manual transmissions for about 10 years daily. So coming from a manual driver, this thing is really good automatic transmission. It doesn't feel sloppy at all, and you can do exactly what you want with it. Nice. I really like this thing. It definitely has an awesome engine. This thing is a great engine. I really like it. It sounds on point with like an American muscle car. This is the way it should sound. So if I ever had to get a car based on engine, it would probably be this. This thing's awesome. As far as right now, it'd be either this or the Hellcat, because I don't think there is an American V8 that matches this out right now. Maybe once the GT500 comes out, but I don't think so. I think that car's not going to sound very good. I was always partial to the old one. That's why I own that 5.4/5.8 modular engine. But this new one is definitely a beast. This Challenger here. Really like it. Filling it up. That's what you like to do after you test drive somebody's car. So that concludes our road test and review of the 2016 Challenger RT Scat Pack. This car is certainly a beast, and it is a great middle ground between an RT if you want the more power, but you don't really need the extra handling and braking, because this does have a little smaller brakes on. I believe they're 14-inch instead of the 15-inch on the SRT, and the tires are 245s instead of 275s. I believe they are on the SRT. So it still hooks up very well because the weight and independent rear suspension setup plants it. It's not like the Mustang where it's a solid rear axle and it has trouble adjusting different road surfaces. It actually plants well. So I would recommend this car for anybody that wants a, you know, I'm not going to say cheap. It's not cheap, but a nice, well-rounded muscle car you can take on long drives. This is the most comfortable out of any of the ones I drove, and I've driven the Mustang, the Camaro, drove Corvettes. Now, this does have the same problem the Camaro has, where it's hard to see out of, but once you get adjusted to it and figure out how to work around it, it is very manageable. So I would recommend this to people. It is a solid car, very solid. Okay, so if you liked the video, like it, and if you would, please subscribe. Thank you very much.